Hello out there, YouTube. It's part 2 of the Chinese knives. Like I said in the last video, I bought 2 of each of the better known manufacturers or manufacturers in China that I thought might have at least some decent quality, the exception of one. In the last video I talked about the Kaisers. I'm going to go ahead and put these away. These were the most premium cost-wise and material-wise of all of these Chinese knives. In the last video I said I was going to talk about the Bestechs. So I'm going to put those away, and I did say I would have my other Civivi. And there it was. Move that one out. Ooh, dropped it. So, the Bestechs. The Bestech, the Bestech Lion. I'm not sure why I felt the need to get all this stuff out just to turn around and put it away. But anyway, it's the world we live in today, right? The Bestechs. Bestech Lion, which is absolutely covered in oil because I just, literally just before this video, took it apart and cleaned it up. Bestech Lion and the Bestech Beluga. So I'm going to start off with the Lion, the Bestech Lion. This was the first of the Chinese knives that I purchased. I saw Bestech at a gun show and thought, that's pretty cool. And I picked it up and flipped it. Oh. And it just felt great. This was one of those knives that the first time I kicked it out there, the first time I operated it, it just kind of gave me goosebumps. This is a fantastic knife. I would venture to say, for the money, this is probably one of the best knives you can get. Pound or dollar for dollar, this is a phenomenal value knife. So you got G10 scales, D2 steel, on bearings. And I tell you, I cleaned it because I've had this knife for a while, and I haven't ever cleaned it. It's just over 8 inches with the lanyard hole. Blade length's just about 3.4 inches. Yeah, oh, geez, what am I doing? Yeah, right about 3.4 inches, and the cutting edge also right about 3.4 inches. G10 D2 liner lock. The action on this knife is just spectacular. Like I said, I took it apart and cleaned it up because I've had it for a little while. I've never cleaned it, and I wanted to take it apart and see, you know, bearings, phosphor bronze, what kind of washer setup was I looking at, and it is on bearings. And it feels like it's on bearings. So this is one of those knives where I can tighten up this pivot as hard as I can, and it's still just gonna get out there and get to work. This knife is fantastic. For the longest time I thought maybe it was just a little big, Well, let me just say, this knife regularly runs about $52, something like that on Blade HQ. At the time that I was shopping this, I actually found this on eBay and got it for like $35. So D2 G10 on bearings for $35 is an excellent deal. And I'll also say this much. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. They actually took the time to recess this pocket clip on the right hand tip up side just a little bit. It's not on this side, but it is on this side. But it is reversible. You know, this is a very no frills knife, but it is wonderful. Wonderful knife. Ergonomics are great. Materials are great for the price you pay. But like I said, for the longest time that I had this and was carrying this, I thought it was maybe just a little bit big. So I decided I was going to go back and try to find the Beluga, which is this one. This one's a little bit shorter blade length, a little bit shorter overall. I really like the look of it. The ergonomics are actually quite good on it. Also, G10. This knife also cost me about $35, but I don't know if you can see it there. 12C27 steel. So I was a little disappointed in that. This knife, the Beluga, as compared to the Lion, is actually really kind of disappointing. To start with, and I don't know if y'all noticed it, but to start with, this pocket clip, so right there, it's flush mounted. It's a great pocket clip. It's got a nice bend to it. It's got just the right tension to get in and out of the pocket, and it kind of starts to duck back down. It's not just ramped up. The Beluga, on the other hand, has this weird kind of, right in this area, this weird kind of G10 spacer. Like, just bend the pocket clip and give me a good, actual nice pocket clip. And then it ramps up here. It's pretty soft. They have jimping in the landing zone of the flipper tab, which, had I not taken quite a bit of sandpaper too to just kind of soften it up, it was actually fairly uncomfortable. And there's something about this it's the texturing on the flipper tab. It's a bit pinchy when you're going to close the knife. Like the way it gets you. It's just a bit pinchy. A little bit of a double clutch there. But really the most disappointing thing to me was I took this one apart and cleaned it up. I actually had tried to take this one apart first and clean it up. And I proceeded to round off my T8 bit on this because of the amount of, I can only assume, Loctite. If you notice how the Bestech logo on this one is straight up and down, I managed to turn this one enough to get it sideways. Yeah, that really put me off on this. Between the cheaper steel, the piss poor pocket clip, the bad ergos. I say ergos, it feels good in hand, but the bad design of the jimping on the flipper tab and the landing zone. this is not a knife that I would recommend. Now, like I said, I bought this knife strictly because of this knife. This knife is so good, I would absolutely recommend. All that means is that I'm going to carry this a lot more, and I'm going to start beating the crap out of it because it's not really worth keeping. This one, I'm going to use it up, use it and abuse it, and then I'll take it apart for the screws, pivot, any part of it that I can kind of salvage out of it. For this knife, I will take off of this after I basically beat it into the dirt. I'm a little curious. I don't know how well y'all can see this. Of course, I don't really have a flashlight handy. Those are awfully thick for phosphor bronze washers, so I'm thinking that they're on bearings, or it could be a doubled up washer kind of situation. I'm genuinely curious, but I'm not really interested in tearing up any more of my bits. Now, I do actually quite enjoy the look of it. I love that drop point profile. I really do like the ergonomics on it. It just locks into your fingers, and that jimping on top really gives you good purchase. And then you've got that forge choil. It's ergonomically, it really is a good knife. It just needs some tweaking. So there's Bestech. I like the G10. I like the texturing on the G10, particularly on this one. But I do like this one as well. I like the look and the texturing. The only knock that I really have on Bestech is while their premium line of knives does start to involve titanium, anything in their budget line, it's all going to look exactly like this. You're going to have G10 and D2 or something else. It's going to be a liner lock. But let me tell you, if you have the opportunity, if you're looking for a really fantastic budget knife that it's just really good, Bestech line is for sure a knife that you will not be disappointed with. Just a fantastic knife. Shop around because you can find better deals. If you're looking for a smaller budget knife, I would not suggest the Bestech Beluga. So that's pretty much it for the Bestechs. I think in the next video, I'm going to get into some of the bad ones. The Inlands. And I'm just going to tell you that this is not going to... I have not taken this apart, and I know it's not going to go well for Inland. But that's not 100% what this is about. So, also, I did want to mention, I did say a couple of videos back that, you know, if I made any upgrades to my nicer, higher-end knives, that I would give those updates. I finally got my MXG deep carry clip with the lanyard cut out for my Para 3. Let me tell you, as much as I love this knife, and as great as it is, does not hold a candle to this one. Anyway, that should go without saying, right? We're talking about a knife that I've got $35 in versus a knife that I've got $200 in. So, yeah, Bestech. I would say for the price, as good or better than Kaiser. But again, buyer beware. If you get the opportunity to get your hands on it, to feel it, to look at it, be aware of jimping on the landing zone of flipper tabs, jimping on the flipper tab, because when you go to close it, it can get a bit pinchy. Also be aware that there might be just, you know, an obscene amount of Loctite in the pivots. This one didn't really have that much though. And look at your materials. D2, 12C27N, or 12C27. Give me D2 all day, every day on my budget knives. D2, VG10, fantastic steals for a budget. All right. Anybody has any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments below, and y'all have a great night.